Good morning, everyone, and welcome back. Happy New Year. Thank you for joining us on the Nitty Gritty Cafe. If you're joining us on Instagram, it's the Nitty Gritty Cafe or the NGC. If you're on not Facebook, if you're on YouTube, it is Learn Together. That's the name of the channel. So you will find that on Instagram, you only have parts of the video. So I try to put the links for each of them inside the Instagram post, but make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel, Learn Together, and there you will find all the recordings. So once again, Happy New Year. I've been away for a couple weeks, a little bit under the weather, but now I'm back. So if my voice is different, you just know that I'm still getting over a cold. So today we're going to start the year out right, 2025. We're going to start talking about money. But in particularly, what should your children know about money? Do you tell your kids anything about money? Is it any of their business? I know that growing up, some parents would say it's none of your business. When you grow up, you'll figure out your own money. I'm of a different opinion, and so today I'm going to tell you why you should be teaching your children from a young age about money. So if you give your children piggy banks, for their monies that they get for their birthday, Christmas, whatever it may be, that's one step. But you should also teach them how and when to spend the money and what they should spend it on. So we're going to look at today the ABCs of money for kids, but also for adults. So, why should you teach your children about money? It helps them to become more financially independent as they get older. And it's also been linked to lower debt levels, higher savings, and higher credit scores. Um, if your children know what money is for and how to use it, chances are they'll be more independent. So you won't always have to be the parent who rushes in to help them. Not that you won't want to do it or won't do it if they need it, but you want to teach them from a young age to be able to handle the money that they do have. All right, so the ABCs of money. We're not going to do all of them. I'm just going to pick one or two from each slide. You can look at it. There's a lot of stuff on the internet you can look at. What are the ABCs of money for children? They should know what an asset is. An asset is something that you own and you can sell for money. So you own it. So for example, if you've paid off your car, it's now an asset. If it's not paid off, it's still a liability. But asset you can sell for money. So if I own my car and I needed to buy something else and I could sell my car for $5,000, get that money to do what it is I need or to do an investment, then that means that that car is an asset. So you should teach your children what is an asset, things you own. All right. We know what a bank is. You should teach your children that. Quick story about this. I pulled up to the bank. I don't often go to the bank anymore because, of course, in our day and age, most people do electronic banking. And so usually I don't take my children to the bank. If I'm going to the bank, I go by myself usually, or I do everything online. And my husband went into the bank and the kids looked and I said, "Yeah, my your dad has a check that he needs to deposit." And they said, "Well, what's a check?" And I thought to myself, "Oh wow, we have never brought them into the bank and explained what a bank is. So please explain that. Please explain what happens at the bank, so your children will know and let them know what that is." So we talked about a deposit and why he's depositing the money and where it's from, etc. on that day. So make sure that you do that. So what's earnings? I'm at E, earnings. The money people receive by doing any work is called earnings. So your children should know what that is. So you go and you get a job, that's called earnings. All right. So next one we're going to look at. Um, so interest. All of us, children and adults, should know what is interest. Interest can either work for you or against you. It's a reward for saving and it's a cost for borrowing. So if you save money at the bank, they might give you 0.01%. I never think of it as interest myself because it's nothing. If you invest some money, you might get interest back and that interest might work for you. Um, if you borrow money at 20% interest and you never pay it off, you continue. So for example, on a credit card, that interest is going to work against you because that money unless you are, putting down a lot of money every month, you will probably be paying that the rest of your life. So you want to make sure that interest is working for you, meaning that you're getting back money from this interest versus you paying out money because you owe money. In that sense, if it's a business loan, we'll talk about good debt and bad debt at the end, but just so you know that that's something that you do need to explain: what is interest, how you can get compound interest on your investments, etc. All right, we will look at what is a loan: money that people borrow from someone or a place, the bank, etc., for a specific reason with a promise to pay it back. That is called a loan. And there's different types of loan. You've got mortgages, car loans, student loans. There's different loans, and some of those loans are good debt, some is bad debt. We'll talk a little bit about that at the end. Um, Needs. This is something that we all need to learn, and it's important that you teach your children this. A need is something that you must have. So it is important that you have a place to sleep. It is important you have food to eat and have some clothes to wear. It doesn't mean that you need all the name brand things. Those are not needs, those are wants. Wants are things you can live without, but you desire to have them. So I think, especially in our commercialized world, it is so important that you teach your children. You may want this Nintendo 5 or PlayStation 5 or whatever it's called. You want it because all your friends have it, but it is not a need. You can live without it. Nobody has ever died from not having a PlayStation. Nobody has ever died from not having, Nike shoes, but they have died from not having food. So one of the things that I might say to my children, so, we try to do fun things with them, and so they've gotten used to, every 2 or 3 weeks we do something fun. But I will sometimes say to them, here's the choice. We can either go and do this fun thing or we can buy groceries. What would you like to do? Would you prefer to have fun today and have no groceries for the week and, no snacks? What would you prefer? And usually they make the right decision. Now, I do that because I can be a little bit drastic, because I want my children to appreciate things and not just think that, it's an automatic that they're going to get something. So we sometimes sit down and we talk about this. So P is for profit, and the formula for that is income minus expenses equals a profit. And it also, there's a second interpretation, which is the money made by a business. So usually we say that's money above what you spend. So if you invest and you get returns back, or you sell a business and you made some money, if you bought a second property and you sold it and you made $50,000, you could say that's a profit. Income minus expenses equal profit. If you make $1,000 a month and all your expenses are $950, and at the end of everything you have $50, I guess that's your profit for the month. So one more thing. So we should talk about saving. That's important for your children. Speak about saving, the money that's set aside. So whether or not you have, an emergency account, that is also important. That's in one of the ABCs. I didn't go through that one. You should always be saving something because there's always an emergency. And the last one that I will do on here is T for tax. It's the sum of money that people pay to the government for the services provided by the government. So taxes is something that most of us forget about. I can give you an example. You get a job and you think to yourself, yes, I am getting an extra, $400 and it's going to be fantastic. But then you get your paycheck and you realize that you only get $200 out of that $400. And then you realize that you make more money, especially from a conventional job. It means that the government takes more money. That's taxes. And so Business people pay different types of taxes from those who earn an income. That's also something that should be explained to your children. I'm always encouraging my children to be business owners. Business owners, be a business owner. Then there's tax advantages. But also, if they are working a regular job, know that if they say you're making $25 an hour, it doesn't mean that you get $25 an hour in your hand, because there are taxes to be paid. All right, so taxes is one thing that we really should talk about. All right, and I will go through this one. Zero balance account, which is Z, a bank account in which people can have no money. And that happens to a lot of people in first world countries, zero money. So please explain to your children all of these. I have not gone through every single one of them because that would take a lot more time than the 10 minutes I really want to do this video in. So very important to start the year right. Talk about these things. So on the screen, you will see good debt versus bad debt. Good debt has lower interest rates and is considered an investment for the future, and bad debt has higher interest rates and can be prevented with smart money use. So remember, I talked about a want versus a need. Usually the bad debt comes from us having a want and going ahead and getting it anyway, and then having to pay the price later because we have gotten ourselves into bad debt. So on this screen, it says good debt can be student loans because you're going, getting your degree, your master's, etc. And that's going to lead you to making more money, mortgages, or business loans so you can start a business. Bad debt can be credit card, car loans, consumer loans. And somebody's going to tell me, well, a car loan is not bad. And that is true if you're buying a car that's within your means and not necessarily one because everybody else is driving it. Like nobody really needs a Lamborghini for $150,000. And I know usually young children, that's what they dream of. My son is very young and he's already said, I want a Lamborghini. So those are one of the things you have to talk about. But also say, if you're a business owner and you're making millions and that's the car you can afford to have it, then go ahead. But if you are making $25,000, $50,000 a year and the car is $150,000, then it's probably not a good idea. So, I hope that this is something that you can um, take away the pieces that you would like your children to know. And here it just says, do you manage your money well? You have a steady flow of income. Do you know how much you spend? You can pay your bills every month. You can buy the things you want. You're saving. You plan ahead. You have an emergency fund, and you invest. Just please remember, it's not about how much you make, it's about how much you keep at the end. So make sure that you're investing for the future. Make sure your children know that not everything that they need today, they have to have, or want today, sorry, they have to have today. And it's the same thing for us as adults. Not everything you want today needs to be bought today, because your needs should come first. Make sure those needs are covered and save towards the things that you need for the future, or learn to invest better. Ask questions. One of the things that I noticed regarding money, people don't ask enough questions. We don't talk enough to the people who know about money in order to get ahead. So that's one of the things I'd really encourage you to do for this year. Talk to those who know about money. Talk to those who are doing well. See how they did it. And live within our means. All right? Have a fantastic day and week, everyone, and we'll see you again in a couple days.